school years. So, needless to say, you know, I had to find a way to make it work. And I found a way to make it work by just being me. Not forcing it, just being me. Accepting others for who they were, and just being as positive as I could, as smiling as much as I could, giving them the opportunity to see me for who I was. And before you know it, by the end of my senior year, I was like one of the coolest kids on campus, right? Well, when I graduated from high school, the next step for me to play in the NFL would be what?
College.
College, exactly. I would have to go to college. I would have to play football at the college level in order for the professional teams to see me play and then ultimately say, we want JR to play on our team. That's how it works, right? Well, I go to this college with a friend of mine, and we're taking a tour of the campus, and everything seems great. I met the coach, and he's telling me, you know, yeah, you'd be able to play here, building me up. You know, I knew people that went to that college already. You know, they graduated like, you know, right before me, and were going there and were telling me how great the college was. And I was all happy. I was up here. Like, it's like I'm 7 feet tall. Like, that's how tall I felt, right? Walking around this whole campus. But you ever have those moments in life, and you guys, you know, I'm not underestimating you because you're 12 and 13 years old, or maybe younger, maybe older, I don't know. But there's times where sometimes you feel so high, and something happens to you, and all of a sudden, boom, you just kind of feel in a slump, right? Like all of a sudden you're walking around, and your body's like this, and you're like, yeah, hey, all of a sudden something happens, and you just kind of, your body just kind of folds in, right? You guys ever had those moments yet in your life? It doesn't matter, it has to be like a tragedy in your life. It can be something small. I mean, something small, something big, it doesn't matter. But you guys understand what I'm saying. So I was on this cloud, and then as we come around the corner to like the administration building to meet with one of the counselors tells me that I will not be eligible to play sports at the college level for 2 years. Because, who can guess? Grades. Because of grades. Because I thought I was doing everything that I needed to do in order to reach my dream, complete my goal. However, there was one thing I was missing, and I didn't pay attention to it. I thought football was going to be it. I thought it was almost a guarantee that this dream was going to happen and nothing else existed. So, of course, when she told me that I wouldn't be able to play sports, I said to my mother, I'm not going to college then. There's no need for me to go to college because I was only going to college so I could play sports, right? So, like this lady, I looked at her like an enemy because she essentially, I came around the corner, she like just squashed my dreams. That's what she did. So, I graduated high school because this was like a couple months before graduation. So I graduated high school, and you know, I turned 18. Actually, no, I just turned 19. And so I was sitting around at the house trying to figure it out. What was I going to do? 19-year-old kid just sitting in front of the television, watching the same show over and over and over. Saved by the Bell, there's Prince, Sports Center. That's all I was doing. Until one day, I saw something on TV that kind of caught my attention. And I thought to myself, we'll look into that. It could potentially be an option. What do you think that was?
Being in the military?
Being in the military, exactly. It was the United States Army. So I went and I met with the recruiters. I did my research. I asked all the questions, or without my mother knowing. And then once I got all this information, then I went to my mother and I said, okay, I think I know what I'm going to do with my life now. She said, what is it? I said, I think I'm going to join the United States Army. And of course my mother was saying no. And this is why she was saying no. Because this was 2002 when I had graduated from high school. And I don't know if you guys are, you know, probably not old enough, but you guys have heard about it. In 2011, 9/11 happened. 2001, I'm sorry. 2001, 9/11 happened. I heard him say 9/11 and it threw me off. But in 2001, 9/11 had happened. So, you know, my mother, of course, we were at war. My mother didn't want her only son to go to war. But I said to her, I said, this is going to give me so many opportunities. It's going to give me an opportunity to be in the military, give me an opportunity to be by myself, to kind of grow up, to become independent, to become a man, to learn about life. I would be able to serve this country. At the same time, I would be able to go to college while I'm in the United States Army. And then if I did 2 or 3 years in the Army, then when I get out, I may be like 21 years old, 22 years old, but I can still go to college. And then I would be eligible to play sports in college. So even though it's no different, let's say my goal, right now, my goal is to get to the back of that room. I just want to reach the back of that room. That's all I want to do. That's my goal, right? Normally, for some people, it happens. You have a walk and you're just walking smooth and you touch the back of the wall. You touch the back of the room. You reach it. No problems. Nothing's in your way. Don't move. But sometimes in life, when you have a goal and you have a dream, you're walking and you're working towards that dream, which mine is to touch that wall. But sometimes there's going to be something in your way. Something is in my way that is keeping me from getting there. But I'm going to have to find a way to get there, right? Because I'm committed, I'm dedicated, and I want it that bad, and I deserve it that much. So I say, no big deal. Find a way to squeeze by it, go around it. Sometimes you have to go over it. Sometimes you have to go this way. Sometimes you have to wait for this to move, and then you keep, right? And then, boom, you reached it. Thank you. So, you get my point, right? No matter, sometimes when you have a dream and a goal, even though it's not going to happen for you the traditional way, doesn't mean you give up and you say, oh, I reached here, I'm not going to make it. Oh, well, let me go back. Or let me just stop here. I give up. Throw my hands up in the air. That's a song, I know it is. Throw your hands up in the air. Right?
Yeah.
Come on, you guys heard the song too. You know it's a song. So I just said to myself, okay, I got to stay committed. And even though this is not traditionally how it happens for guys that play in the NFL that reach their dream, reach their goal, it's going to happen for me in a completely different way, but it can still happen. So I joined the United States Army at 19 years old, September 12th, 2002. And I joined the United States Army, and I was part of a unit called the 101st, which is out of Tennessee, or actually Kentucky. So I joined this unit, and the job that I had in the military was infantry. How many of you know what infantry is? Let him answer, right? Let him answer.
Troops on the ground, foot soldiers.
Foot soldiers, exactly. So when you see guys, like when you're watching the news or you see a movie and you see guys with their weapons and they're on the ground and they're kind of huffing and puffing it, that's an infantryman. So when you hear about a fight that is happening in a war zone, infantrymen are usually the first ones there, the first responders, so to speak, right? You ask, why do you pick that, what's such a dangerous job? Well, because I felt that if I was going to do it, I was going to do it. Well, when I joined the United States Army, I thought to myself, 3 years and I'm out of here. 3 years, I serve, I give back to the country, I get all these things, and I move on with my life, right? Because my mindset is still football. I still have to focus on that. I still have to believe in that. Well, in March of 2003, about 7 months after I joined, they told me I was going to be deploying to Iraq. Now, they told me, I was 19 years old, and they told me that I'm going to war. I'd never been in war in my life. The only war I knew was war that was on television. The war in the movies. Hollywood. That's all I knew about war. I didn't know anything else about war. And I was scared. And I was afraid. I mean, can you imagine if someone came to you right now and told you that news, what would you would be terrified. And if you say you're not, you're probably lying. And that's the thing. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel that feeling when it comes to you. But you have to find a way to kind of overcome that feeling and keep moving and taking steps. So even though I was afraid, I had to get on this plane. Even though I was afraid, I still landed in Kuwait City. Even though I was afraid, I found myself in a war zone. I found myself in the middle of Iraq, March, early April, 110, 15 degrees, sand all over in my face and my mouth, not being able to eat the good food that I wanted to eat at home, not being able to be with my family, not being able to hang out with my friends. I didn't have that. Instead, I had to fight for my life every single day. Well, April 5th, 2003. I'm almost a year, 8 years and some change ago. I wake up this day and they tell me, Martinez, this is your job for the day. Me and my guys. Your job is to get in your trucks and to drive to this airfield where helicopters landed and secure it, because we were expecting some helicopters to come in and give us some supplies, and then we had to deliver those. So we started driving. We started driving because it was a regular mission, no big deal. So we start driving. I'm 19 years old. You know, I'm cool. I feel like I am. I'm cocky. You know, nothing can stop me. I just feel like I'm on top of the world, right? Because when you're young, that's how you feel. You feel invisible. You feel like nothing can touch you. It won't happen to me. It won't happen to me. It won't happen to me is what we start to think. And there's nothing wrong with that. The reason you start thinking that is because it never has happened to you, so you think it never will. Until it does. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen to you. I'm just saying life will happen. And this was my life. So I'm driving this truck, and there's 3 other guys in the truck with me, so there's 4 of us total. And we're driving past this city called Karbala. And as soon as we get to the city, actually, they stopped us, and they told us that we had to wait because there was potential enemy threat on the road that we were driving on. So we had to wait and find a new way to get there, right? So we waited. Then they finally told us, okay, now you can go. So we started driving. I literally drove from here to, what's that big building we walked past? Come on. So like where the counselors and the principal's office is, it's like the front, like where you go into that, what building is that, administration building? Right? So I literally, like, let's say I was walking out this door, and I started to walk towards that building to walk into the principal's office. From here until there, right when I reached that door, boom! My truck ran over a bomb. My truck ran over a landmine. How many of you know what a landmine is? What's a landmine?
It's planted in a landfill. It's triggered by force or movement.
Exactly. So a landmine is essentially, let's say, it's something round like this, right? Something round like this. And it's buried under the ground. Sometimes it camouflages so well so you can't even see it. If you're walking or you're driving, sometimes you don't see it, and when you press it and then release it, it explodes. It detonates. Well, that's what happened. My front left tire, which was right under my feet because I was the driver, rolled over this. As soon as the tire rolled over it, it exploded. Let me tell you, a couple seconds before that explosion, I had one hand on the steering wheel, I was smiling, we were laughing, we were joking in the truck. It was another day. It was another day. We didn't think this was actually going to happen to us because I was 19 years old and I felt invisible. And 2 seconds later, boom! My life has completely changed. I went from being a 19-year-old kid that was strong, that was independent, that can think, that felt invisible, that was on top of the world, that was chasing his dreams, chasing his goals, trying to find ways to get here and get there and do things with his life, to now all of a sudden being a 19-year-old kid or a 19-year-old baby fighting for his life. Screaming and yelling at the top of his lungs, not like a traditional 19-year-old young man would do. Asking someone to pull me out of this truck because I can feel, let's be honest, because you guys can see it, because I can feel my face, I can feel my body burning. Take 1 second, just take 1 second to think about, I woke up this morning, when I woke up, I went to the bathroom or I went to the sink, I washed my face, as I was brushing my teeth, I looked in the mirror. And I saw my hair, I saw my face, I saw my ear, I saw my eyes, I saw my lips, I saw my cheeks. And I just kept brushing. And for 12 or 13 years of your life, that's all you know, right? That's all you've seen every single day when you wake up, when you go to bed, every time you look into a mirror. Try to imagine for 1 second if one morning you had to wake up and all of a sudden you look in the mirror and you're completely different. Completely different, and it's not by choice. And what I mean by that is sometimes people have plastic surgery to change themselves, which is crazy. So this happened to me not by choice. I was finally pulled out of the truck, and I fell into a coma. I fell into a coma because they said I was trapped inside the truck for about 10 minutes. This truck was on fire. They didn't think I was going to make it. And the reason it took them so long is they had to find a way to kind of get to me without harming other guys, without hurting themselves, which is understandable. I was brought back to the United States, and I ended up in San Antonio, Texas. You guys know where San Antonio, Texas is? So I ended up in San Antonio, Texas, at a hospital called Brooke Army Medical Center, which short for Brooke Army Medical Center is BAMC, BAMC. That's what they call it. That's the acronym for Brooke Army Medical Center, BAMC. So I showed up at BAMC. For 3.5 weeks, I was in this coma. So late April, I remember hearing this voice say to me, Martinez, Martinez, if you can hear me, shake your head. If you can hear me, slowly open your eyes. I'm laying in this hospital bed, and I'm essentially this is how I'm laying. I'm laying in a hospital bed, and I'm looking straight up. So when I nod my head the first time, then I open my eyes. Well, my eyes have been closed for so long that when I opened them, all I can see was that light, and it completely scared me, and I closed my eyes again. Then when I reopened my eyes, I started to focus from the center of the room to the right, and all I could see was green, and it was every nurse and every doctor in that hospital in my room because it was a big moment. They didn't know if I was going to make it or not. So now, you can say, I went to Iraq, he was in war. But let me tell you what the real war for me was. The real war for me is coming out of my coma. Is now having to feel this pain on my face and on my body and try to understand what exactly happened to me. Well, I requested to see my face. I requested to see my body, and my doctor told me no. Not yet. Give it time. Because what you're going to see right now is not ultimately what you're going to look like for the rest of your life. I was impatient. I was 19. I said, no. I want to see my face now, and I want to see my body now. Well, they put a mirror in front of me, and guess what? I was upset. I was depressed. I was angry. I had regret. And I blamed everybody. I blamed everybody. My mother, doctor, whoever put that landmine there, I blamed everybody. Because that's what we do when we're in that situation where we feel attacked. When we feel like we're the victim, we blame everyone else. That's naturally what we do. And I had to find a way to kind of understand this was not anyone else's fault. This was just something that just happened. And how I got out of that, because I was 19 and my mother came in to me one day and said to me, you just have to be positive and it will get better. And you know what I said to my mother? I said, how are you going to tell me to do all these things? Does your face look like mine? Are you going to have to worry about one day when you're walking into a classroom of kids or on the sidewalk or in a supermarket that she is going to run away from me because she's afraid of me? That he is going to be hanging out with his friends and he's like, dude, that dude looks weird. I'm not saying you guys would. Just an example. Are you going to have to go through this, Mom? Are you going to have to worry about one day you want to have a girlfriend? You want to have a wife? You want to have kids? You want to hang out with your friends, go to the movies, go to the mall? Just be free. Just live your life. Are you going to be able to do it? Or are you going to have to worry about that? She said, no. I said, then don't tell me how I should be acting right now. Because we always do that with our parents, our close relatives or close friends. We always kind of bash out at them. My mother took it because that's what love is. She heard what I had to say. But then she came back and said something to me that changed my life forever. She said to me, JR, you have a lot of things to learn in life. And one of the biggest things that you have to learn in life is that whoever's going to be in your life, whether it's a girl, whether it's a friend, whether it's a coworker, whether it's family, that they're going to be in your life for not what you look like, but for who you are as a person. Wow. Never heard that before, because growing up as a young man, all I heard was, JR's handsome, JR's cute, JR's this. I never was told that I'm a cool person. I never was told that I have a cool personality. So I was led to believe that that's why everyone was talking to me, because I played football, I was nice, and I was cute. She told me this, and I thought to myself, you know what, you're right. So at that very moment, I made a choice. I made a choice. At that very moment, I made a choice. And I said to myself, and I said to my mother, although I do not understand why this happened to me, although I do not understand what I'm going to do with the rest of my life, I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to have a great attitude. I'm going to continue to believe in myself, even though I know now football is never going to be a part of my life. I'm never going to be able to play football again. But maybe there's something else for me to do out there. It's a choice I made. Because I said there's a reason I'm still alive, and life goes on. Life goes on. Well, that choice came back to bless me. Because about 6-7 months after I was initially hurt, I was already out of the hospital as an outpatient, so I would just come back every morning throughout the day for my appointments and therapy and things like that. I was 20 at this point. And one day I was asked to visit a patient, another patient that had just gotten there who was injured, and I was asked to visit him. And I said to the nurse, I said, I don't know what I'm going to say to him. What am I going to say to the guy, right? Had no clue. Had no clue, but you know what? Take it from me and take it from people and other people that are going to share it with you. Sometimes the best things are going to come to you when you least expect it. When you're not thinking about these things, when you're not saying, oh, I'm going to get something in return, that's when you get something in return. I walked into his room. I visited with him for about 45 minutes. When I left his room, he had told me that I had changed his life. He had told me that I had a positive impact on his life. I ran out of the room, ran and called my mother, and told my mother, I said, you remember that question, Mom, when I saw my face and I saw my body and I was upset as to why this happened to me? She said, yeah. I said, I think I have the answer. She said, what's the answer? I said, I think I was kept in this world to use my experience to help other people. She's like, I think you're right. So every day from that day on, I started visiting patients at the hospital. That's all I did. In the mix of my own, therapy and things that I had to do, I was visiting patients. Boys, girls, didn't matter. Families, visiting. What happened is, then all of a sudden I started to kind of be asked to do interviews, in front of the big camera. And I started doing interviews. And I was like on 60 Minutes, then I was on Oprah, then I started to kind of get into motivational speaking. I got into charity work, and I was in People Magazine, and I was doing all these crazy things I never even thought of that I would be doing. I never thought that I would be doing these things. These things were never in my dream, never in my goal. And then all of a sudden, 3 years ago, I get a call to try out for a part on this show called All My Children. And I don't come from an acting background. Granted, I was chasing football. But I tried it. I tried it, and when I got the part, they told me it was going to be a 3-month job, that's it. And here I am, 3 years later, still on the show, acting my butt off. The point is this. The things that have allowed me to get to where I am today is respecting other people. Is respecting what they may be going through, respecting the type of person that they are, respecting their culture, respecting that they're different from me, but that doesn't make them weird. That doesn't make them scary. That just makes them completely different. But it does not mean that they don't deserve the same love and respect that I get. Because I had to learn people had to learn how to respect me, and I had to learn how to respect them if I wanted that same respect in return. I had to learn how to believe in myself and say no matter what my dreams are, no matter what my new goals are, I'm never going to give up, and I'm going to find a way to get there. Nothing will stop me. Not a landmine. If a landmine didn't stop me, nothing else will stop me in life. I had to understand that peer pressure, and there's a lot of times, there's things in life that ultimately want to pull you away and want to take you off the road that you're on and pull you onto the bad road. Stay focused, guys. You guys have a choice. You guys have a voice. Use it wisely. Don't let someone else's decision, don't let someone else choosing something else to determine what it is that you want to do with your life. Don't let it affect you. Dream. But don't just dream. When you wake up, act. Take action. Make that dream come true. Never give up on your goals. Always believe in yourself. Girls, every girl in here, I'm talking to you. You're beautiful. You're completely beautiful. And it may not be the same type of beauty that the girl sitting next to you has, but you're beautiful in your own unique way. Guys, treat girls with respect. Learn how to talk to girls. Learn how to treat a girl. That's the new cool, man. The new cool is not just like I'm just going to disrespect everybody and talking this way and talking that way, and I'm going to walk around with my pants hanging on like, what's up? That ain't going to get you nowhere, man. The new cool is treating a girl with respect. Believing in your dreams. Going after your goals. Respecting others. Not bullying anyone else. Not judging anyone else. Accepting them for who they are. Because ultimately, they're going to accept you for who you are. Does that make sense? So, I'm going to wrap up on this, because the bell's about to ring. Alright, I always end on this. You guys see this clock, right? See that red hand? It's moving, and it's going in a circle, right? Right now it's at 2. In a minute, it's going to be at 3. And eventually it goes back around, it's going to be at 2 again, right? How does that red hand keep moving? Who can answer that? Why does that red hand keep moving? Omar.
Because it needs battery.
It has batteries in it. It has batteries in it that work, that are strong, right? Look at the clock. What's at the very top? What number? What's at the very bottom? 6. 12 is at the top. Let's look at the analogy. 12 being a good place in your life. Everything is going well. Nothing can go wrong, right? 6 is at the bottom. Negative. Things are horrible. Nothing is going right for you. But look at the red hand. Look where it's at right now. Look where it's at. What did it hit? What did it just hit? 12. Because there's batteries, as Omar said. There's good batteries in the clock for it to come back around to 12. The point being this. In life, when you're at 6 in your life, and nothing is going well, and everything seems like it would not get better, and you feel like you just want to give up, and you feel like there's no purpose anymore, and you have no significance in this world, and you feel completely just shattered, inside and out, remember, you have to put batteries in your own life. You have to stay strong. You have to put will. You have to put belief. You have to put dreaming. You have to put all these things inside of it to hold on, because eventually it gets to 10, and it's getting better. It's slowly getting better. Then eventually it gets to 11. I feel better now. I feel all better now. And then before you know it, it's at 12, and you completely forgot about 6. So when you're at 6 in your life, put it in, baby, because you'll get to 12 again. Thank you, guys. I'm out.